The grand hall buzzed with the happy sounds of a wedding. Oliver, dressed in his best suit, felt a little bit like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. He was so happy for his friends, Sarah and Tom, who were getting married today. Their love filled the air like sweet music. Still, being at such a big party by himself made him feel a little shy. He sipped his sparkling cider, watching people laugh and hug. That's when he saw him, a tall man with kind eyes and a warm smile, standing near the wedding party. He wore a crisp suit, just like the other groomsmen. Oliver noticed him because the man kept looking his way. It wasn't a rude stare, but a soft, curious glance. Every time Oliver looked up, the man's eyes would meet his for a quick second, then gently look away. A blush warmed Oliver's cheeks. He wondered who the man was. The wedding ceremony had been beautiful, full of tears and laughter. Now, the reception was in full swing. Fairy lights twinkled above, making the big room feel magical. Oliver found a quiet spot by a window, watching the sun set in pretty colors. He felt a little less out of place when he saw the handsome groomsman again. This time, the man was talking to an older lady, probably his aunt, but his eyes still found Oliver. A small, secret smile played on the groomsman's lips, and Oliver felt a little leap in his chest. He watched as the groomsman helped an older guest find her seat, always polite and helpful. Oliver liked that. He liked the way the man's hair caught the light and the way his smile reached his eyes. Oliver secretly hoped the man would come over and talk to him. He tried to act natural, looking at his phone or pretending to be very interested in a flower arrangement. But inside, his heart was doing a happy dance every time the groomsman looked his way. The man's name, Oliver later heard someone say, was Matt. Matt. It sounded nice. Oliver imagined saying it, just to himself. Matt was laughing now, a deep, pleasant sound with a group of friends. Even from across the room, Oliver could feel the warmth of his presence. It was strange, this feeling like a tiny spark had landed in his heart and was starting to glow. He had never felt quite like this at a wedding before. Usually, he just enjoyed the food and the music. But tonight, there was Matt, and his gentle, stolen glances made everything feel different, brighter. Oliver couldn't help but wonder if Matt felt it too, this quiet pull between them, across a room full of happy noise. The night was still young, and Oliver had a feeling it was going to be a memorable one. As the wedding reception went on, Oliver found it harder and harder to focus on anything but Matt. The music changed from soft dinner melodies to upbeat dance tunes. Guests started to fill the dance floor, laughing and spinning. Oliver stayed near his quiet window spot, but his eyes kept searching for Matt. And Matt, like a secret sunbeam, kept finding Oliver. Every few minutes, across the swirling crowd, their eyes would meet. It was never for long, just a quick flicker of recognition. But in those tiny moments, something special happened. A small, shy smile would bloom on Matt's face, a smile just for Oliver. Oliver would feel his own lips curve into a matching smile, a little hidden in the shadows of the room. It was like they were sharing a secret game, a silent conversation only they understood. Each time it happened, Oliver's heart would give a tiny flutter, like a bird's wings inside his chest. It wasn't a big, dramatic flutter, but a soft, warm feeling that made him feel giddy and light. He'd pretend to look at the decorations or watch the dancers, but his mind was replaying Matt's smile, the gentle crinkle at the corner of his eyes. He saw Matt talking with the bride and groom, his gestures friendly and open. He watched him share a joke with another groomsman, his head thrown back in laughter. Oliver noticed how Matt's hands moved when he spoke, how his posture was always easy and confident. Everything about Matt seemed to draw Oliver in. At one point, Oliver went to get a fresh drink. He had to walk past the main bar, which was closer to where Matt was standing. As he passed, he felt Matt's eyes on him. He didn't look directly, but he felt the warmth, the gentle attention. When he reached the drink station, he risked a quick peek back. Matt was indeed looking, and when their eyes met, Matt gave him another one of those soft, secret smiles. This time, he even gave a small, almost invisible nod. Oliver's cheeks grew warm again, and he quickly looked away, a joyful feeling bubbling inside him. The evening continued this way. A song would end, people would clap, and Oliver would find Matt's eyes. A new song would begin, and Oliver would catch Matt looking his way, a silent question or a friendly acknowledgement in his gaze. It felt like they were the only two people in the busy room, connected by these quiet exchanges. The air between them, despite the distance, felt charged with something sweet and exciting. Oliver wondered if Matt knew the effect he was having. Did he know how each stolen glance, each shared smile, made Oliver feel a little braver, a little more hopeful? He hoped so. He hoped that these tiny moments were building towards something, a chance for them to actually talk. The thought made his heart flutter even more, a happy, hopeful rhythm in time with the wedding music. The wedding reception moved swiftly from one happy moment to the next. Soon, it was time for dinner. Oliver found his assigned table, a bit far from the head table where Matt sat with the wedding party. He ate his delicious meal, trying to listen to the conversations around him, but a part of his mind was always aware of Matt. Then came the speeches. The best man told funny stories about Tom, the groom. The maid of honor shared sweet memories of Sarah, the bride. Matt, as a groomsman, gave a short, heartfelt toast. His voice was warm and clear, and Oliver felt a shiver run down his spine as he listened. During Matt's speech, their eyes met again, just for a moment. Matt's smile was soft, and Oliver felt a rush of warmth. It was a secret nod, a shared understanding in the midst of all the wedding cheer. After the speeches, the lights dimmed a little, and the DJ cranked up the music. The dance floor, which had been mostly empty during dinner, quickly filled with guests. Friends and family twirled and swayed, their laughter mixing with the catchy beats. Oliver watched them, feeling a little shy about joining in by himself. He wasn't much of a dancer, especially not in front of a big crowd. But even with all the people moving and the music playing loud, Oliver and Matt kept finding ways to glance at each other. Matt was often on the dance floor, pulling other groomsmen into silly dances or laughing with the bridesmaids. Oliver would see him, a bright spot in the crowd, and just as he thought Matt might be too busy, Matt would turn his head. Their eyes would connect, and Matt would offer a quick, playful wink or a gentle smile. It felt like a game, a very sweet and private game. Oliver would pretend to be looking at the ceiling or admiring the floral arrangements, but he was always ready for Matt's next look. He would catch Matt's when Matt was getting a drink, when he was walking past tables, or even when he was just standing still, talking to someone. Each time, that little flutter in Oliver's heart grew stronger. There was a moment when a slow song came on, and Matt danced with an older lady, perhaps his mother or an aunt. Oliver watched them, seeing the gentle way Matt held her, the kind smile on his face. As the song ended, Matt looked up, and his gaze swept across the room until it landed on Oliver. This time, his smile was softer, a little more thoughtful, and Oliver felt a deep sense of connection. It was as if Matt was saying, "I see you even here, even now." The energy of the party was high, but for Oliver, the most exciting part was these silent exchanges. The dinner, the speeches, the dancing, they were all happening around him, but his world felt centered on Matt. Each glance, each small smile was like a tiny gift, making the evening feel more special, more personal. Oliver couldn't help but wonder what these many glances truly meant, and if they would lead to something more than just secret smiles across a crowded room. The night was still young, and the dance floor was still full, but a quiet anticipation was building in Oliver's heart. The night deepened, and the wedding reception showed no signs of slowing down. But as the hours passed, a shift began to happen. The energetic dance music gave way to a string of slower, more romantic songs. Couples who had been spinning wildly now held each other close, swaying gently. Oliver watched from his spot, a comfortable distance from the main action. He still hadn't ventured onto the dance floor, but he enjoyed the soft glow of the lights and the sweet melodies. A particularly beautiful, slow song filled the air. Oliver closed his eyes for a moment, letting the music wash over him. When he opened them, his gaze, as if by magic, found Matt. Matt was dancing, not with a partner, but slowly swaying by himself near the edge of the dance floor, his eyes scanning the room. When his eyes met Oliver's, the usual quick smile appeared, but this time it lingered, softer and more meaningful. As the last notes of the slow song faded, the DJ announced a short break. The dance floor, which had been full just moments before, began to clear. Couples drifted off to get drinks, chat with friends, or simply rest their feet. The bright lights came up a little, and the loud buzz of conversation filled the space where the music had been. This was Oliver's chance, he thought, to maybe slip away and get some fresh air. But then he saw Matt. Matt was no longer near the edge of the dance floor. He was walking, not towards the bar, not towards his friends, but directly towards Oliver. Each step he took felt important, like a drumbeat in Oliver's chest. Oliver's heart, which had been fluttering all evening, now seemed to beat a little faster, a little louder. He felt a nervous excitement bubble up inside him. Matt's eyes were fixed on Oliver, and in them, Oliver saw a clear, hopeful look. It wasn't just a polite glance anymore. It was an invitation, a silent question. A small, shy smile touched Matt's lips, and his shoulders seemed a little less stiff than before, as if he was taking a leap of faith. Oliver felt a warmth spread through him, from his toes to the tips of his ears. He straightened up, suddenly aware of his posture, his hands. He wanted to look calm, even though inside he was a whirlwind of feelings. He watched Matt approach, his handsome face getting clearer with each step. The crowd around them seemed to fade into a blur, the noise of the party becoming a distant hum. All that mattered was Matt, walking towards him with that hopeful look in his eyes. He reached Oliver, standing just a few feet away. The air between them felt thick with unspoken words and shared glances. Matt's smile widened slightly, a genuine, open smile that made Oliver's breath catch. This was it, the moment they'd been hinting at all evening. Oliver's heart pounded with a mix of nerves and pure joy. He knew, without a single word being spoken, that something special was about to happen. Matt stood before Oliver, his smile gentle and inviting. He didn't say a word, but his eyes spoke volumes, full of the same hopeful feeling Oliver had seen from across the room. Oliver felt a pleasant shiver run through him. He waited, a little breathless, for Matt to make the first move. Slowly, gently, Matt reached out his hand. His fingers were long and warm. He didn't grab or pull, but simply offered his hand, palm up, a clear invitation. Oliver's gaze dropped to Matt's outstretched hand, then back to his eyes. Matt's expression was soft, reassuring, as if he knew Oliver might be feeling a little shy. With a slight tremble, Oliver lifted his own hand and placed in Matt's. The touch was soft, like velvet. Matt's fingers closed around Oliver's, not tightly, but with a gentle hold that felt surprisingly comforting. It was the first time they had touched, and a spark, warm and sweet, shot through Oliver's arm. It felt exactly right. Still without a word, Matt turned slightly and began to lead Oliver away. He didn't pull him fast, but guided him with a slow, easy pace. Oliver followed willingly, his heart thumping a happy rhythm. They moved away from the bright lights and the chattering crowd near the dance floor. Matt led them towards a quieter part of the hall, a corner tucked away from the main celebration. This corner was dimly lit, with soft lamps casting a warm, golden glow on a few potted plants and an empty small table. It felt like a secret garden, a hidden nook just for them. The music from the main room was softer here, a gentle hum in the background. The loud conversations faded, replaced by a peaceful quiet. It was perfect. As they reached the quiet corner, Matt didn't let go of Oliver's hand. He simply turned to face him, their hands still linked. Oliver looked around the cozy space. It felt safe and private, a world away from the big, noisy party. He looked back at Matt, whose smile was now even wider, a happy glint in his eyes. "Is this okay?" Matt finally whispered, his voice low and warm, like smooth honey. It was the first time Oliver had heard him speak up close, and it was even nicer than he had imagined. Oliver nodded, a shy smile spreading across his face. "Yes," he whispered back, his voice a little shaky. "It's perfect." Matt's thumb gently brushed over the back of Oliver's hand, a small, soft touch that sent another wave of warmth through Oliver. In this dim, quiet corner, away from everyone else, Oliver felt a sense of calm and happiness he hadn't expected. The anticipation that had been building all evening now settled into a sweet, hopeful glow. He wondered what Matt had planned, what this secret moment would bring. He was ready for whatever it was. In their cozy, dim corner, Matt still held Oliver's hand. The soft music from the main room drifted over to them, a slow, gentle tune. Matt's eyes, full of kindness, looked into Oliver's. He didn't ask if Oliver wanted to dance. Instead, he simply moved a little closer, his other hand gently resting on Oliver's waist. It was a soft, careful touch, light as a feather. Oliver's breath hitched, but not from fear, only from a sweet surprise. He felt a warmth spread from Matt's hand on his waist. Slowly, Oliver lifted his free hand and placed it lightly on Matt's shoulder. And then they began to sway. It wasn't a grand dance, no spins or fancy steps. It was just a slow, quiet sway, perfectly in time with the distant music. Their feet barely moved, just shifted softly on the carpet. It felt like they were floating, wrapped in their own little world. Oliver could feel the gentle warmth of Matt's hand on his back, the soft brush of their clothes. Their hands, still linked, were resting between them, fingers loosely intertwined. Each touch was soft, light, and full of a quiet understanding. It was more than just dancing. It was a way of speaking without words. Oliver looked up at Matt. In the dim light, Matt's eyes sparkled. His smile was still there, but now it was a private smile, just for Oliver, hidden in the soft shadows of their corner. Oliver felt his own smile widen, a feeling of pure happiness bubbling up inside him. He didn't have to pretend to be anything but himself here, with Matt. The sweet feeling that had been growing all evening now bloomed fully in Oliver's chest. It was a feeling of connection, of belonging, of quiet joy. He leaned in, just a little, resting his head lightly on Matt's shoulder. Matt's arm tightened almost imperceptibly around him, a comforting hug that made Oliver feel safe and cherished. They danced like this for what felt like both a moment and forever. The music changed a few times, but they kept their slow, gentle rhythm. Oliver could smell Matt's cologne, a fresh, clean scent that he instantly loved. He could feel Matt's steady breath, the soft beat of his heart against his own. Each soft touch, each hidden smile, was a secret shared. There were no grand declarations, no loud words. Just this quiet dance, in a quiet corner, where a sweet desire was gently unfolding between them. It was a perfect moment, a tiny bubble of magic at the heart of a big, happy celebration. Oliver wished it could last all night. He never wanted to let go of Matt's hand or the sweet, warm feeling that filled him. As they continued to sway in their secret corner, Oliver felt completely at peace in Matt's arms. The world outside their dim haven seemed to disappear. He had his head resting lightly on Matt's shoulder, listening to the soft beat of Matt's heart. It was a moment he wished could last forever, a sweet bubble of quiet joy. Then, Matt shifted slightly, and Oliver lifted his head. Matt's eyes, still sparkling in the dim light, looked down at him. His smile was even softer now, full of a tender warmth that made Oliver's own heart swell. Matt leaned in a little, his lips close to Oliver's ear. Oliver could feel Matt's warm breath, sending a pleasant shiver down his neck. "You look really lovely tonight, Oliver," Matt whispered, his voice a low, gentle rumble. It was just a few words, but they were said with such sincerity, such a kind tone, that Oliver felt them deep inside. A bright blush immediately bloomed on Oliver's cheeks, hot and sudden. He hadn't expected Matt to say anything, let alone something so sweet and personal. He felt a warmth spread through him, not just from the blush, but from the happy surprise of Matt's words. It was like a tiny sun had just risen inside his chest, making everything glow. Oliver pulled back just a little, looking up at Matt, his eyes wide. He didn't know what to say. He was used to being invisible at big parties, not being told he looked lovely by a handsome groomsman. He could feel the heat of his blush, but it wasn't an embarrassing heat. It was a warm, pleasant feeling like being wrapped in a soft blanket. Matt's smile softened even more, as if he understood Oliver's shyness. His thumb, still intertwined with Oliver's, gently stroked the back of Oliver's hand. It was a comforting gesture, letting Oliver know it was okay to feel shy, okay to be surprised. "Thank you," Oliver managed to whisper back, his voice a little breathy. He meant it deeply. No one had ever said anything quite like that to him before, especially not with such a tender look in their eyes. Matt just nodded, his gaze still holding Oliver's. He didn't push for more words, just let the quiet moment hang between them, filled with the soft music and the warmth of their connection. Oliver felt an overwhelming sense of happiness. Matt's simple, kind words had made the evening even more special, turning the quiet dance into something truly unforgettable. He felt cherished, seen, and deeply, sweetly desired. The feeling was intoxicating, making his heart sing. He wished he could stay in this moment, with Matt's gentle touch and kind words, forever. The gentle music from a main hall slowly faded, signaling the end of another song. Oliver and Matt stopped swaying, but they didn't pull away from each other right away. They lingered in their dim, quiet corner, still holding hands, still close. The sweet feeling that had bloomed between them was too precious to let go of just yet. Oliver looked up at Matt, his blush still warm on his cheeks. Matt's eyes held a soft, understanding gaze, as if he knew exactly what Oliver was feeling. He seemed to be in no hurry either, content to just stand there, sharing the quiet space and the lingering warmth of their dance. A few more seconds stretched between them, filled with unspoken thoughts and shared smiles. Oliver didn't want the moment to end. He wanted to stay wrapped in the comforting bubble of Matt's presence, away from the bright lights and the cheerful noise of the party. It felt like they had discovered a hidden treasure, and neither wanted to break the spell. Matt's thumb once again brushed gently over the back of Oliver's hand, a soft, reassuring touch. It was a silent promise, a quiet acknowledgement of the special connection they had just found. He gave Oliver another one of his secret smiles, a little wider this time, but still just for him. Finally, with a soft sigh that Oliver barely heard, Matt slowly loosened his hold. He gently unwound their fingers, but kept his hand near Oliver's, a silent invitation for another touch. Oliver felt a tiny pang of sadness, but it was quickly replaced by a sense of sweet contentment. The dance was over, but the feeling wasn't. Matt took a small step back, giving Oliver a little more space. "We should probably head back before someone sends out a search party," he whispered, a hint of playful humor in his voice. His eyes twinkled. Oliver chuckled softly, a light, happy sound. "Right?" he agreed, still feeling a bit dazed by the magic of their dance. He knew Matt was right. They couldn't stay hidden forever, even if he wished they could. They walked slowly out of their secret corner, back towards the brighter lights and louder sounds of the wedding reception. As they moved, Matt's hand brushed lightly against Oliver's arm, a soft, reassuring contact that felt like a quiet promise. Oliver rejoined the party, but everything felt different now. The music sounded sweeter, the lights seemed to sparkle brighter. He knew he carried a wonderful secret, a memory of soft touches, hidden smiles, and kind whispers. The memory of their dance, tucked away in shadows, felt safe and warm in his heart. No one else knew about it, and that made it even more special. He glanced at Matt, who was now talking to another groomsman, but their eyes met for a quick, knowing moment. Their secret was safe, and the night, Oliver knew, was far from over. Rejoining the wedding reception felt different for Oliver. The sounds and sights were the same, but his own feelings had changed. He carried a wonderful, glowing secret in his heart, a memory of soft touches and kind words. He found his way back to his table, feeling lighter and happier than he had all evening. He looked across the room, and there was Matt, talking and laughing with the other groomsmen. But even from a distance, Oliver felt their shared secret. It was like a warm thread connecting them, invisible to everyone else. Throughout the rest of the evening, their glances became even more meaningful. When Matt caught Oliver's eye, his smile held a new depth, a knowing glint that made Oliver's heart flutter with quiet joy. Oliver would smile back, a soft, shy smile that carried all the sweetness of their hidden dance. It was a silent language, richer than any words. Matt found small reasons to be near Oliver. He'd walk past Oliver's table on his way to the bar, offering a quick, warm glance. He'd pause near Oliver's seat while chatting with someone else, and Oliver would feel his presence, a comforting warmth nearby. Each time, their eyes would meet, and a silent conversation would pass between them. I remember, me too, this is special. As the wedding celebration began to wind down, guests started to gather their things and say their goodbyes to the happy couple. Oliver felt a pang of sadness at the thought of the night ending, but also a thrill of excitement for what might come next. He watched as Matt helped the bride and groom gather gifts, always helpful and kind. When Matt finally had a free moment, he walked over to Oliver's table. This time, he didn't just glance. He stopped right in front of Oliver, his smile open and warm. "I had a really wonderful time tonight," Matt said, his voice soft just for Oliver. His eyes held a promise, a question. Oliver's heart beat a little faster. "Me too," he replied, his voice a little shy but firm. "It was magical." Matt's smile deepened. "It truly was," he agreed. He paused, then looked around quickly to make sure no one was listening too closely. "Would you like to get coffee sometime this week? Or maybe lunch?" Oliver's face broke into a wide, happy smile. "I'd love that, Matt," he said, his voice brimming with happiness. Matt pulled a small card from his pocket, a groomsman's contact card. "My number," he said, handing it to Oliver. Their fingers brushed, a soft, familiar spark. "Text me when you're free." Oliver carefully took the card, feeling like he was holding something very precious. "I will," he promised, his eyes shining. As Matt went to help the happy couple with their farewell, Oliver held the card tightly. The night had given him more than just a wedding memory. It had given him a shared secret, a sweet memory of a hidden dance, and a clear promise of something more with Matt. The quiet desire that had unfolded between them was now a hopeful beginning, a beautiful new chapter waiting to be written.